Hi everybody. Today we're going to animate on canvas. Let's get right into it. You'll see in the assignment for the day, I've severely reduced the amount of text that's over here. I just thought it's simpler. You're going to see the YouTube link. You click on that to get to here, obviously. Daily attendance, please do this every day still, and Discord if you haven't done it already. Anyway, let's get right into what we're doing. All right. So we're going to do a few things differently today. Firstly, here you'll see in our canvas, we have everything the same. What I also want to do here is I want to add a button. All right. I'm going to say button. I'm going to give this the ID btn1 so that we can add an event listener to it in JavaScript later. And I'm going to give it the class centered, since this is going to be right below our canvas. I just want it to be nice and center so everything still looks pretty. And I'll just put click me here as the button text. So you'll see here there's an ugly little button, but a button nonetheless that we can use, and we can click to actually get our animation started. That's what we're going to use this for. All right. In the JavaScript, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure that I have var btn1 is equal to document.getElementById btn1 so that I can add the event listener to it later, and that event listener is likely going to get this draw method. Okay, what I'm also going to put up here at the top is this variable x, which is, I'm going to start off at -40. All right, now if you recall, x equals 0 is this left-hand side of the canvas. So x equals -40 on the canvas. That would be some point out here to the left. All right. And that's because what we're going to do is we're actually going to draw a shape on our canvas in respect to the x coordinate, that x variable. And then we're going to change the x variable so that that shape is then redrawn at a different location. All right. In that way we can simulate animation. All right. So we have that x is equal to -40. Then what I'm going to put here in the draw method is I'm going to say, all right, well, we have our context. I'll say ctx dot fill style. I'm going to set that to blue since we have a red backdrop right now. I didn't draw a white background, and I'll actually explain that in a moment yet. And then here I'll say ctx dot fill rect. I'm going to put this at x, which is -40 right now. I'm going to put this at, let's say, 80. And I'm going to make it 40 by 20. All right, this is a 40 unit wide. That's what this is saying. That's a 40 unit wide rectangle, and it's 20 units tall. All right, now if it's 40 units wide and it starts at x is equal to -40, you're actually not going to see it initially. All right, and in fact, if I just very quickly put this draw method here and just run it, you'll see in your canvas, nothing's there. And if I change this to -20, you'll actually see half of that rectangle sticking out over there. Let's change that back to -40. All right, and so what we're going to do here is we're actually just going to, after we draw this rectangle, say, all right, x plus equals 0.5, which is saying add 0.5 to that -40, which will increase its value and move your rectangle from right to left across the canvas. Okay. The problem is if you just put that and you have your draw function, that'll only happen once. What we need to do is we need to tell our program to keep on calling the draw function at our new x. This is going to happen inside the draw function itself. It's going to call itself over and over and over again on those different x values. This is what we call a recursive function. We're not going to go into too much detail about that this year, actually. That's going to be in next year's course. Look forward to that. But essentially, a recursive function is a function that loops an activity by calling itself over and over and over again. All right. So the draw function, when it's done drawing, will say, hey, draw again, and then draw again, and then draw again. The way we do this is with what we call a timeout method. All right. And here's how we set it up. We say var t is equal to set time out. All right. This function, what it does is it says, hey, do whatever's in this set timeout method at whatever time. All right, so we have to give it two pieces of information: what we want it to do and how much time we want it to wait. All right, the time that we have to give it is in milliseconds. So let's put that out here. What I'm going to tell it is I'm going to say, hey, do this function. And the function, you say function parentheses, and then in the parameters, you tell it exactly the function you want it to do. And all I want this to do is to call my draw method again. All right. After those brackets, and look, you got parentheses, brackets, draw, parentheses, close brackets. Please just be very careful with that. Spend extra time, pause the video, look at that, and make sure that you have that perfectly, because I know that gets a little jumbled and it's a little tough, especially since we're having it all on one line. All right. After that set of brackets, I'm going to put a comma and then the amount of time I want to wait. I just want to put 1 millisecond there. Make it nice and quick. All right. And now, just watch closely. When I run this, you'll see I have this like loading bar going across my screen. All right. If you looked here, we did say that we wanted this rectangle to be 40 units wide. Why is it that it keeps on getting bigger? Well, the thing is, with Canvas, when you draw something on the canvas, it stays on the canvas. So really, it's like we're dragging a 40 by 20 stamp across a page, right? We really just wanted to like stamp and then erase and then stamp and then erase. That's essentially what animation is. If you guys have any, if you've ever made a flip book, right? It's several pages that have slightly different images on them. And the way it works is as you move through them, you're not seeing the previous pages, you're just seeing the new one. So what we need to do is every single time we draw, we want to make sure that we eliminate anything that's already drawn. So what we're going to do is right before this fill style, we're going to say, hey, ctx.clear rect. We're going to do that 0, 0 on c1.width to c1.height. That should clear everything. Okay, so now that we have this clear rect here, what will happen is at the start, every time we call the draw function, it'll get rid of anything that we already have in this, which will sort of mimic that whole flipbook effect where you're not seeing the previous slide anymore, you're just seeing whatever new thing you're looking at. So let's run this again. And now you can see, boop, it goes on its own. That rectangle travels across the screen, appearing to be animated, when really it's just a lot of frames of different rectangles going very quickly, being drawn very quickly while the others are erased behind it. All right, which is exactly how film works. All right, so we have this so that when we click run, that this happens. Let's just very quickly make it so that this happens every time we draw, every time we click this button. All right. So to do that, what we can do is get rid of that draw on the bottom and instead say btn1 dot add event, man, I can't type, listener, and we need to give it two things. We need to give it the event we're listening to, which is a click on that button, and the function we want it to run, which is our draw function. All right, so now if I rerun this, when I click the button, it will go. Now the problem is if I click it again, you see nothing's happening. And that's because our X just keeps on going up and up and up and up and up. All right, it's never actually going back down to that negative 40. So we need to actually handle that. What we're going to do is, instead of it keep on calling itself until it goes off, as it goes off the screen and into oblivion, what we can do is we'll just put a condition here that says if x is less than or equal to 200, then we'll set the timeout function and continue drawing. And if it goes past 200, well, 200, if you recall, since this is a 200 by 200 canvas, 200's off the screen. All right. So what we could do instead in the else is say x is equal to negative 40 again. Now, what we did here earlier is just put C1 height and C1 width for our clear rectangle because our canvas size might change. If we wanted to do the same here, in case our canvas size changed, we can say instead x is less than or equal to C1 dot width. All right, so now we can click our button, and then when it's over, we can click it again and it happens again. Some of you might start getting impatient though and start clicking it several times, and you'll see it starts going faster and faster. And that's because we have multiple functions running this at the same time, so they're all increasing our x value, which makes this go very fast. And you'll see actually a bunch of them queue up even after I stop clicking, and they'll just start slowing down as these functions end. Uh, so that's something we can fix tomorrow. But let's be good with this for now. That was cool, all right? Hey. So yeah. So just as I have this animating again, don't forget to do the attendance. I hope you guys are taking some time to just enjoy your week. I know this was supposed to be your spring break. I'm so sorry that was taken from you, but maybe us spending time together is fun. All right, and if it's not, well, I'll try to make them as less intensive as possible. All right, guys, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.